Hello everyone,
Hey,
I'm Nick.
I'm Tim. Hello.
Welcome. It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for some comp play.
I like that. That was
Thanks,
good.
mate, thanks.
How you doing?
I'm good, mate, I'm good.
Yeah.
What are we talking about this week?
Oh, it's big news.
Big.
I have dipped my sexy little toe into the waters of 11th edition. I played a new map.
Yeah.
I played some of the new rules.
Yeah.
And I know absolutely everything there is to know about
Solved
11th
it.
edition
Solved
now.
it, mate.
So I'm going to tell you guys all about that.
Great stuff.
Also, our good friend Andy, comp play team member, went to South Coast Super Major.
He's going to Barcelona!
Won a golden ticket, got
Yep.
third place.
Great news.
Beaten only by friend of the show, Ross Tully. Well deserved.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about their lists
Yep.
and the other lists that did well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll touch a little bit on the new melee changes that Games Workshop have announced for 11th
Big
edition.
news this week. 2-inch engagement, which was my nickname at college.
Certainly was, still is actually. And yeah, we'll look at your hobby stuff in the Discord like we always
Yep,
do, because
yep.
we love that.
Cool.
What do you want to know about 11th? I'm the man, I'm the James
You
Workshop.
are our insight into 11th edition right now.
Yeah.
So, Tim, obviously at our Brighton club, the King and Queen in Brighton, Tim got the new maps out for the lads, played 11th edition.
Cut the templates out of Crunchy Nut Cornflakes cereal box.
Elite breakfast.
Yeah,
cereal.
very
Elite
good,
breakfast,
yeah.
Yeah.
Brought all my plastic GW train because I figured it was the
It's the first time probably this edition you've been able to
I've
use
ever
it.
played
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and made a map up
Yeah.
and had a game.
Had a game. So you were playing so obviously fans of the show would have seen Tim's tree DG previously. So you're playing your tree DG.
I was playing my award-winning Taliban
Yeah,
Death Guard list,
Yeah.
which maybe wasn't the best test for the new maps because it doesn't do that much shooting. It's kind of
Some big bases though. Big bases.
huge bases. It's kind of terrain agnostic, this list, because it just goes, do nothing turn 1, turn 2, 6-inch deep strike, everything.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
Have a bang on that. Yeah.
But I do have some shooting, and my opponent, Joe, famous for sleeping in McDonald's.
Yes, yeah.
I know, in a
Burger King, yes, yeah.
down
Sleepy
here.
Joe.
Have you ever
Sleepy
seen
Joe.
someone asleep in a Burger King? It might have been him. He was bringing his Black Templars. He did have 2 Rep X's in there. So, you know, shooting was
Very
relevant.
shooty.
Yeah.
Yep.
We both have a lot of infantry, so the hidden rule was relevant. So
Yep.
what we did is we took the Crucible of Battle map for 11th that Games Workshop have announced.
Which I feel has been the one that's caused the most furore.
That's why we played it, because
Yep.
I wanted to test the sight lines into the deployment zones. We played with cover gives you -1 to their ballistic skill rather than your armor.
Yep.
We played with the hidden rules, where if you don't shoot last turn, you get essentially low not 15. It's a little bit different from that.
Yeah. It's like you don't get. This is the thing that I've found a bit contentious about that rule, actually, just on a quick tangent, is that some people say it is low NOP, some people says it does not give you visibility.
That's what the article says.
Yes.
It says you don't have visibility, which means, as far as we know right now, you can indirect the hidden stuff because you don't. But probably they're going to fix that.
Yes.
Neither of us had any indirect, so it's fine.
That's fine, because you're not idiots.
Yeah, we also played with the rule where your leader keeps their abilities after their bodyguard died.
Sweet.
We played with the no more than 1 strat per unit
phase.
per phase, which was a ball ache because I like to deep strike a Rotagus within 6, and then I spend a strat to move through walls when I charge.
Okay.
And now I can't spend a strat to re-roll if I fail that 6-inch charge.
Oh, I see. Ah,
So that was a problem.
Okay.
We did not play with any of the changes to charges
Melee that
or
have been
melee
revealed this week.
because we didn't have what we know about melee now. We didn't know that, and I just had this hunch that we only knew half of it, and it would be silly to play with half of it, not the other half. So let me bring up a map. And we'll have a little.
That's not a map. This is a map.
That's our secret notes.
Yeah. Oh, spoiler. Okay.
This is a map.
That is indeed a map.
This is what we played.
Yeah.
People are very worried, maybe rightly so, about this sight line.
Yeah.
This is your big staging area, and you can just drive from here to here and shoot across there.
Yeah.
Which Joe did with a repulsor executioner. And then whiffed and didn't kill a bloke drone.
Okay.
So conclusion, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
it's
it.
fine.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also crazy, just straight down this line.
Straight down the middle.
And obviously the same thing over here.
So I feel like having seen your deployment the other night, you had, I think it was Joe, had just tons of bodies in that middle ruin at the bottom.
Yeah, he had like everything here and
everything
here.
there.
Yeah. And so he drove a Repex over here and just enjoyed this sight line all game. And he drove another Repex here and enjoyed this sight line until I killed him.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, then the news is, so what you can see on screen now, the yellow portions are what vehicles can drive over. So they are ignored by vehicles, Titanic units.
They're things that are less than 4 inches in height in the current move set, so you can ignore them.
Exactly. So those little kind of straight line pieces of terrain directly where the deployment is, that's kind of hot for I can really see a Repex loving that. I can see a Redeemer loving that. I can see Guard loving that actually, particularly the new Guard that got leaked today.
It's really easy to stage 2 shooting platforms and then move them turn 1 and get good lines. It's really, really, really hard to stage melee.
Okay.
Like, if we look at, let's look at Games Workshop's one of their current Crucible layouts. Both these maps have the same feature, which Games Workshop love and UKTC and WTC hate, which is you can shoot every objective from the other objectives.
Yes, yeah.
They really don't want you to have like...
No man's land is very difficult to hide. You can pop a body on the top here in the blue part of the ruin and, you get cover, but that's it. There's very little obscuring.
Yeah, so they really like this feature where you can shoot from objective to objective, and it stays here. Like if you're in this middle one, there is ruins here, but you do have this bit of ruin is small in Games Workshop. So if you had a vehicle in there, you could probably shoot to it.
Can we also establish what these little kind of? I'm not even sure what they are in the middle. They're kind of like these middle 2 sections.
These things.
Yeah, what are they?
We played them as
crates.
Crates that nothing can move through.
I see.
And basically, so you could barely move into this terrain.
Yeah.
Because it's a crate.
And also because it's green, that I'm assuming that means that like a vehicle cannot go through / over.
But we played also a infantry can't move through it because it was not a ruin. It was whatever.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But like, so shooting across the board, Games Workshop like that, and they want you to be able to do it. But the thing about this layout is you can stage here in this ruin and assault this objective. You can stage here in this ruin and assault that one, or that one probably.
And this little...
And you can stage in this little thing and assault that.
Having watched a few Games Workshop, when I watch the Art of War Boys or whatever else, that seems to be prime spot. And obviously, I think on this... so the other topic of debate has been the open eye, obscured eye thing. So for anyone who doesn't know, is that if the eye is slashed through...
Like this, they are considered separate pieces of terrain. And if it's open, they're the same piece of terrain. So here, this is considered one long piece of terrain.
Yeah. So if you're towed on one bit, in theory, you can shoot into the other, or fully within. But obviously you can't be fully within because you can't stop on the yellow pieces of terrain. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I really hate that. It's so annoying that you have to remember on each map. Exactly. Which piece of terrain is one, and which piece of terrain is two.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. But yeah, okay, so here's the thing about this. Where do you stage to get to their expansion? You can't stage behind this tiny little thing. You can't even hide 5 Space Marines behind there. If you're really fast, you can like come out of here potentially and roll a big charge. But this thing is so deep. It's like, oh, it's deep. It's like 7 inches or something deep. And you can just tow a guy on here, hidden round here, and hold that objective. Yeah. So like, how are you getting to that?
Yeah, that was one thing we obviously in our little Complay group, we were talking about these new objective pieces and that top. So if you're the red player right now, your expansion objective is going to be that
this
element, in the top right. There's a world where you can basically tow a couple of bodies on that top section of that objective, be obscured and hold it, and therefore you're going to try and, like, your opponent is either going to do exactly the same thing on the other corner, or they're going to have to start mobbing bodies onto the point in order to swing it, right?
But it's hard to get bodies onto this point without a charge target.
Yes.
You don't have the movement. Yeah. Like even if you move 12 and advance, like how much far
you are going to be arse out.
Yeah. So that makes it feel like melee armies are really going to struggle. Yes. Pure melee armies. Combined is fine.
On this
map. But the thing I'll point out is this line here, it feels like bad because it's hard to deploy. But what it means is it's quite hard to screen out this corner because if you want to have guys here, there's just a line of sight right down there. Yeah. So it might be that the way they've solved, like, but then if you're all melee, you can't shoot down that line.
Yeah, no, this is true. This is true, right?
Like, I don't know what you're going to do if you're.
So are we saying that uppy downy stonks may be back?
Yes,
because that's something that feels like it's really. There was a little moment again with the new Raven Guard detachment where it was hot shit again for a little bit. But this, we're saying that is this the return?
I think if you don't have 12-inch deep strike denial, like if you want to screen this corner. You could commit a unit fully behind the area. Yeah. But now you need to commit another unit because this thing is more than 9 inches. It's like 11 and a half.
Okay. So it's quite chunky.
Without a 12-inch deep strike denial, you can't screen your whole home with one unit that's behind the piece. You need something in the piece. Yeah. Or something up front as well.
Yeah, because again, in theory, the yellow is it's going to be very difficult to obscure behind that.
Oh, that's going to be a tiny little thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but you are hidden.
You're hidden, correct.
You are hidden.
I think probably what you do is the other point about these deployments as well is how barren the back of deployment.
The back is very
So the screening thing, like you say, whether that's a conscious decision, so that suddenly screening becomes problematic, and therefore you're going to get a little bit more jump into someone's back end.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's going to happen, I'm not quite sure. The entendres are coming thick and fast this week.
It's also hard to screen you can screen this area with one model behind this wall here. So like Combi Lieutenant does great work.
150 point Combi Lieutenant 11th edition confirmed.
But you can't really fit a whole unit behind here in a way where someone can't drive out and shoot you.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to probably see infiltrators kind of touching on the back end of expansion and strung back kind of into that back right-hand corner, I feel.
That's the other thing that I found very strange about this deployment. In this or in, say, UKTC, like, it's so obvious that I want it, like, where you can put your infiltrators to be helpful.
Yeah, you either
put them... They can take mid-board control and move block the wall, do the inch of the wall thing, and be holding your expansion all in one time. There's nowhere like that on this map. Like on autopilot, I put my Poxwalkers forward because that's what you do with Poxwalkers. It's just immediately shootable turn one. There's nowhere to put them.
Rep-X,
so infiltrating is looking like really good for move blocking. Like you can put 6 Nurglings here, for example, so they can't come out of their lovely staging point. That's great. But infiltrating to so you can cleanse turn one. I don't know about that.
Yeah, does, yeah.
I don't
doesn't look good.
I don't know where you put them.
Yeah, like the Infiltrate Scout is going to be super. That combination is going to be OP, I think, on this. It's going to be fantastic.
You don't need Infiltrate on this map. You don't need Infiltrates to hold your home. You just literally just walk a guy there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 3 inches, isn't it? Yeah. Delicious399 says, I assume BT won right. Spoiler alert, they did not. Tim was playing his Death Guard, his lovely tree Death Guard. So, BT did not win. Shouts to Joe, the BK sleeper.
He did kill my Ground Clean one, though.
He didn't he do it in a single turn?
Yeah, with a 20 blob of whatever they're called, and two characters and a strategy.
Goodness, there was no 2-inch engagement there, because that would get, wow. I don't think I've ever heard of a Great Unclean one getting done in a single activation.
I think Crusaders can do it.
Evidently, yeah. Goodness me.
It was good stuff.
Well, at least Joe got some kind of recompense.
Yeah, he was happy about that.
Yeah. No, I remember him walking around the club and basically telling everyone he once had to go, and then went back and got his little.
No, Black Tempest did not win, I'm afraid, even though I massively misplayed my Poxwalkers.
It's
just didn't know where to put them.
Such
really didn't know.
One thing I did see today, shouts to Ross, who will be talking about, not to, well, maybe through the medium of podcast, we're talking to him. One thing I did see today is he put up a picture in one of our respective WhatsApp chats of this deployment, but with UKTC terrain put on it. So a few more Ls, and I think it did make logical sense. I think in terms of where the placement was. But one thing that I noticed is it would be an absolute nightmare to get anything with a big base to interact in certain ways.
Yeah.
So where we've got Sam, can we bring the layout up again? Where you've got the current green, it was like more extended on each side. I can't remember how big they're. 5 inches, aren't they? The Ls from UKTC, whatever that might be. It suddenly made this map feel a lot more cramped, and new defilers, knights, things like that. It just felt like it was going to be bad for them. Tank spam.
Do you know where that came from?
No.
Just like hobby, someone was curious what it would look
like.
Yeah,
I think, exactly. Someone had a bit of a
because I think it's a mistake to think about this, because we were playing with 10th edition missions, right? But 11th edition missions are all different.
So different.
And maybe it's supposed to be hard to hold primary, and maybe you get rewarded in the points.
Exactly. I know we've seen one that was the equivalent of Purge the Foe, right? So that was very, you have to kill things on objectives.
Yeah.
So there was a slight difference, but that is the equivalent of Purge. There was another that felt like it was a mix of kind of old OBSEC meets sabotage or actions in a piece of terrain. So you're kind of booby trapping stuff. So again, there's some of the elements.
Yeah.
We did see that one thing that was if you've watched the show before, you may remember a couple of weeks back, I did speak a little bit about the fact that interactions with different unit types may differ ever so slightly different pieces of terrain, and this was actually alluded to
the battle line thing.
The battle line thing. So with if you've seen the new Waz Daka data sheet that came out this week, can we just say
awesome,
he looks amazing?
Yeah.
I'm not super in love with the model, but his data sheet is unreal. He's basically a deep striking, an up and down low knock rhino. It's just ridiculous. He's fantastic. Who advances in charges, moves 14, auto advances 6. He just crazy good.
And has a hit onto Mega Claw.
Yeah.
Inspector
Gadget. So it looks fantastic. But they did allude in that article to when they said that that Orc bikes would become battle line. There was an allusion, or they alluded to the fact that battle line will interact somehow differently with actions and or terrain pieces. And I do wonder, so back at the beginning of 10th edition with the initial mission pack, we had specific missions that you had to action with battle line units.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that. Also, they've told us some of the primary missions. One of them that's like a standard hold points type primary. You can get some points in your turn for holding primary. So you don't have to hold it to your opponent, to your next command phase. That is kind of a clue that Games Workshop expects holding primary to be hard.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So if we suddenly make WTC style terrain layouts where you can just make it impossible for an opponent to move onto your expansion, then that mission will be too easy.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Maybe.
Well, I'm just gonna break to the chat, sir, because it's popping off in there. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining us. Hi, Toby, one of the Hobby Henchman boys. Freemania, Brian Pocock, Primordial Toast, great name. Darkside Customs, we got Brandon in the chat, we got Joe in the chat, Sleepy Joe, BK Joe, love you, sir. Simon Cross 40k says, what do people think UKTC will do? Just stick with their own terrain or just build their own layouts? So there is another rumor circulating. Let's go big screen, Sal. I've got some serious stuff to say. Thank you. There is a rumor circulating at this moment in time that Games Workshop will only balance the game if their terrain layouts are used. Now, there is a caveat here, and again, some leaks, they have distinguished between a terrain template, so what is on the floor, versus the things you put on top of that template, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that is then giving grace to WTC, UKTC, and other organizations, may they come along, Super Sixes, that we can just change things a little bit. So the actual floor plan, shall we say, if you're an architect, will remain the same, but the pieces of terrain that sit on top of that will differ. Now,
yeah, that makes sense to me.
It makes sense to me. However, like I said, I think if UKTC, for example, start to retrofit some of those L-shaped ruins on these bases, whatever you want to call them, then there is going to be problems with certain armies. You know, there is going to be an issue where knights can't get around the board. Those new defiler bases, you know, you could eat your dinner off them. So I think we will see some diversion from UKTC and WTC from these terrain packs. But if Games Workshop do enforce the fact that it has to be on these bases, layouts, but not necessarily the walls or placement of walls, etc., that could cause some issues. And you know, there's already a little bit of a, you know, for example, our partnership with Team England, you know, we're trying to ensure that more people play on WTC terrain, so that helps benefit the Team England team, basically, because not enough people in the UK play on WTC, and therefore, in theory, the Team England team are handicapped because they go to events where it's not possible to play a high quality opponent on WTC terrain unless you go to these international tournaments. So in those situations, then what happens?
Well, it depends what WTC do, doesn't it?
It does indeed. It does indeed. So to answer your question, Simon, it's going to be interesting. I think there will be some slight variation, but I think that the prime one was that little staging point you were talking about earlier. I think you suddenly put like a little wall. So in these middle sections, Tim, if you can give a little swirl of the mouse. I think if you suddenly make that like WTC used to have, I do believe, it's like the little kind of wall like that. There's a little bit of a pocket you can.
If you could go in a pocket here, you can assault this.
Yes,
or
exactly.
WTC do have a crate.
Yes,
so that could be where the crate goes. UKTC have a lot less. They got like long things.
Yeah,
right?
but I think the crate won't
is
be able
the
to
problem.
stage.
Yeah.
The crate is a problem because suddenly you're coming down and you can shoot across.
Well,
right? You get the middle. That was the other thing we noticed actually, is if you're in the middle, so very much like the old GW terrains, that if you're an expansion, you can shoot other expansions. You can definitely do this from the middle here. If you're either end, you're within 15 inches of either expansion objective.
It depends how tall these ruins are, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. So you're gonna see a lot of expansion to expansion / objective to objective.
If these big and small ruins were just the other way around, and it was potentially a little bit bigger, you could be in this corner and threaten this.
Yeah, because what you're then doing is you're effectively giving yourself, an opponent has a staging point to attack your expansion.
I think we can say for certain that UKTC and WTC are not going to buy Games Workshop terrain. So the shapes of the things on the templates will definitely be different. Whether they change the templates as well.
Yeah. I feel like these bases are going to be in the starter box. But I think that's where we're going towards. You know, from that preview, you could see there were a little push out. Sam, sorry, can we just bring up the big thing again? Something that I read in another Discord that I thought was quite cheeky. So there's been a lot of fuss made about the fact that there are 0.25 inch measurements and stuff, which are going to be a nightmare for most people to get right because mats tend to, you know, have a bit of tolerance in terms of spacing or whatever else. That is probably there because in the UK, we have A4 standard printouts when it comes to push-out cards. And someone rightfully pointed out that that is the size that will fit exactly within an A4 piece of card, and you can pop it out. So I'm not sure if there's been production elements kind of considered because 100%. Of that.
I will say,
yeah.
Oh, there's actually 2.5 measurements on this board.
Yeah,
but the middle one, you don't need to measure the 24.25. You just put those two in the middle. That's where they go. They're in the middle.
Yeah. But yeah, so that might be a concession to English production standards that our European and American cousins are going to probably not enjoy. So maybe that was them.
Especially the Europeans, they're going to hate that.
Yeah, they are. So what? 2.5 centimeters an inch? Something like that. So yeah, there's going to be an obtuse centimeters measurement there.
It's just going to be 24 inches.
Exactly. It's going to be 24, and people are going to deal with it. There'll be a slight gap put in the middle between those two separate pieces of terrain, and that's it. But yeah. Darkside Custom, that's Dingle Dangles on Discord.
Hello,
Dingle Dangles. One of our favourites here from Sorry Prime, that's a thank you. But Legion says nerf Necrons. I feel like it's already happened, which we will talk about a little bit in a matter. So what was your main takeaway here then, Tim? Shooty good, melee bad?
Well, we were playing mostly melee.
Okay.
It was... I don't know how I ever would have got to his expansion without 6-inch deep strike.
Okay.
I just don't know. I don't know how I crossed that. I don't know how to cross that.
Yeah, that would be
so I'm interested to see what this means for melee armies.
Yep. Because the other layout does feel more melee friendly. We haven't got it on up, Sam, sadly, but the second layout, have you got it?
Oh,
that's got to. Anyway, if you've seen it,
can't you drive a Rhino over that?
Over
the yellow bits on the Rhino.
You can drive it over the yellow bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So delivery by Rhino.
Yes, delivery by Rhino and Land Raider.
Land Raider, especially assault ramp, is good.
Yes, assault ramp's good. Anything with advance.
Land Raider can fit this little gap where the little clover-looking thing
behind here.
Yeah, that's
maybe a Rhino. Yeah, Chaos Rhino. Chaos Rhino could probably. But I think advance and disembark with shooting, advance or move and charge. So assault ramp is probably going to be pretty valuable, and I think up and down is going to be more valuable.
What I think they're banking on, which we didn't really get to see, is 15-inch hidden.
Yes.
So your melee armies, you're going to need chaff pieces where you go and take the middle and you take your expansion and you say, if you want to kill me, you need to send stuff within 15 of me, so you don't have to cross the gap. You force them to come to you. So I really think MSU is back.
Yeah. Late stage.
Well, it's actually, there's two ways to hold objectives. One is MSU. Everything you send, you lose, but you've got another one.
Yep.
And the other one is in very, very, very chunky things.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Which is kind of probably the complaint that most people have about the end edition right now. I think the days of putting one unit on your expansion and just leaving them there and never have to think about it. Yes.
They're gone.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. Thanks for that, Tim.
No worries.
I'm trying not to be okay doomer about 11th edition. Try my best.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm not doomer.
I feel like change is good as a rest, right? It's like it is going to adapt. One of the biggest changes that we've now seen this week, so literally it was leaked yesterday, I do believe, is changes to melee. So should we have a little chat about that?
Yeah, we didn't play with any of them, and it would have made a difference. There's a couple of weird things about this map if you don't play with the new changes. One is that, Sam, can we just see the map again? The yellow ones, they're about 2 inches wide, and you can't stand in the middle of them.
Yeah.
So in 10th edition rules that we were playing, if you're behind that, you're completely safe from melee.
Yeah.
Because they can't stand on it.
Yeah. But you kind of are now. You will be with 2-inch engagement? No, because isn't that just over 2 inches wide? So
well, it depends. If this is a thin wall in the middle, then you can stand right up against the wall and potentially on the other side of it.
Okay.
So 2-inch will help you with that.
Okay.
Let's just run through the changes they've announced.
Let's run through the changes.
So now when you want to charge, you announce that you're charging, you roll 2d6.
Yep.
That's your charge, your maximum charge distance. And what you then do is any unit that in a straight line base to base is within that maximum charge distance, you're allowed to declare any number of them as charge targets.
Yeah, that's a big thing, right? So it's base to base. So you measure base to base.
But you're not measuring the movement your model has to move.
To get into engagement.
Just the actual distance between them, you measure base to base. And if they're in, you're allowed to declare them as a target.
Yes.
Then you do all your movement, and TLDR, 2-inch engagement range.
Yes.
So you just have to get 2 inches of...
But also, and also pile-ins are all going to happen simultaneously. So you don't pile in when you activate. There is a pile-in phase in the fight phase, and then... and you and opponent pile in, don't you? So it's like everything piles in, and then you decide order of attack. Now, fights first is going to remain broadly the same. So if you charge, you get fights first. Infinitely worse, but there is something I want to talk about there.
All right.
But the charging player, so the person who is active, will fight first. So it's no longer that you can just park Necosaur behind a ruin, someone charges you, heroic intervention, I fight first, I clear unit. There's none of that anymore. However, I was thinking about this earlier today, in that, so we're going back, so I think 10th edition is the first time, I might be wrong here, please let me know in the chat, I think 10th edition is the first time that fights first has meant that your opponent activates before you as the charging player. What it used to give was you had the second activation. So it's alternating activations if you had fights first. Now, that did create a bit of a dynamic which was cracked. I'm not going to lie. It was one of those things that everyone at the beginning of the edition was very unhappy with. But kind of just became a way that we played the game as much as has happened across 10th edition. Fights first now is going to change so your second to activate. It's going to become valuable if you can heroic and force multiple activations and charges. So for instance, if you suddenly got a unit you've got a Land Raider here, you've got 6 BGVs and a Judiciar here. You've got 2 units coming in, and you know that those 2 units, if they charge Land Raider, can kill it. Then suddenly, first unit charges, Judiciar and BGVs move in with fights first, other unit then charges. So you're kind of charge blocking, but in a slightly different dynamic to 10th edition. Then suddenly you're trying to skew the maths in such a fashion that first unit charging probably doesn't kill the Land Raider, but the second one could. They then suddenly have to make an awkward choice between, do I kill the fights first unit that you got there, or the Land
symbols going
exactly. It's very complex. But yes, so there is. It's not completely valueless. It's a free interrupt, basically now.
Yeah, it's good as a free interrupt because you, especially against melee armies that are going to be making multiple charges in one turn, you don't necessarily put it on your best unit.
Yeah.
Because what you want to make your opponent have the decision of like, because they're going to get to fight first, you're going to get to fight second. If they choose to fight into your fights first to deny you it, then you have a better unit that you want to interrupt the 2CP with.
Exactly, and the intricacy of heroic intervention, it used to be, oh, my fights first unit, just do that, and that's it. I kind of kill the unit that's just charged. The fact that you now have to be much more selective and careful about who you engage, ensuring that they can't pile in towards the target you want to protect, kind of spreading attacks so the mass skew in your favor. It's kind of, I want to say it's made it more important because it's still, if you're looking at a 1-to-1 unit charge basis, then it has been there. But how you spread people and units,
it's more interesting now.
It's going to be more intricate.
I want to say this about the new melee rules as well. When you charge, you don't ever have to base.
Yes.
You just have to get within an inch if you can. So you do still have to like move your guys in, but this means you always get a pile-in move.
Yes, yeah. I think the way to remember it is like 1, 2, 3. So you will measure base to base, but you have to end within 1. Your engagement range is 2. Your pile-in.
You have to end within 2 for the charge to be real.
Yeah. You have to end within 1 for the charge.
No.
Okay.
You have to end within 1 if you can. But if you can't,
I see.
If you're within 2, it is a successful charge. You've got engagement range. And you never move.
Sorry.
And you can move through engagement range.
Yeah, you can move through engagement range. Yeah.
There's a lot more skill expression in the.
Yeah, there's popcorn emojis popping up in the chat. I know what you mean. It's It's a big change. I like the roll and charge. I think we covered this in our Snog Marry Avoid episode. Has the value of screening dropped? Because suddenly, again, it was intimated today that the new. Oh no, sorry, it might be New York one. I can't remember which one it was. Oh no, it was yesterday. They were talking about yes, you're deep striking with 8 now, so that means melted. You're in melter range. But they said a little bit about you can still pile in if you've charged into other units.
Yeah, if you charge multiple units, you pile in all your units, one of them fights, it potentially kills the target for your next unit to fight. They're allowed to make a second pile in.
Yes.
So you can still slingshot.
Yep.
Regarding screening, it's harder to physically...
The gaps have to be much bigger now, surely, between units.
To prevent slingshotting? Yeah, definitely. There's still value... The unit that you put in front of your army to take the first charge, they have to stand closer together now because models are allowed to move through the engagement range between them. So it's like a meat wall, basically. So they're harder to use, but their value is increased because everyone piles in at once.
Yes. Yeah.
So all the pile-ins are going to happen into your unit that's at the front and potentially protect your things at the back.
Yes. Yeah.
As long as you leave that gap to prevent the slingshotting.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah.
But that gap's quite big.
Chat, what are you thinking about the new melee rules? Again, not trying to be a doomer, but it does feel like melee. I like the changes. I like the fact that in that instance of screens, if you're sloppy, if you can move through engagement range, then suddenly you're able to pass through, kind of do.
You're just like, excuse me there, just going to kill your mate.
Yes, that's going to happen quite a bit. But yeah.
Got a question in chat about combat.
I have a question about the combat rules. It is my reading that you have to roll a high enough number to get a unit in completely. So if a unit is 7.5 away, you would need to roll an 8 to charge it. You are correct, Primordial Toast. So,
yes.
And also that does mean, big thing, is a double 1 will fail.
Always fails.
A double 1 will always fail. Because if it's 2-inch engagement range, you're 2.1, and you have to you have to be in base, even though you don't have to. You're measuring base to base. So effectively you're 2.1. So if you roll a double 1, you fail. So we now have critical fails. So yes, can you imagine a situation where that would be the case, but you can't get within an inch? I do think there's probably some instances actually on the new layouts, particularly relative to big base models.
You can't get within 2 inches would be the situation.
Yes, yeah. So suddenly the screening element. So yes, an inch on the wall is gone. And that was a house rule. WTC did 2-inch engagement anyway when you were kind of like, if you charge into a wall and you can't get in to that space, then you have 2-inch engagement.
Sam, if you bring up the map, I'll talk us through a scenario. Right. Imagine this terrain here was all green stuff that vehicles can't move through, right? You've got a unit on one side here and a unit on the other side here. Let's say I'm trying to charge my Great Unclean One to a unit to the other side of this unbreachable wall. That would be a 2-inch charge. You'd have to roll a 2. But to physically move him there, I'd have to go all the way around this thing. Right? So 2 would be the number I needed to roll in order to declare them as a target of the charge. But then I wouldn't be able to be met. And so it would be a failed charge.
I see. So yes. So we've still only seen previews, and I think there is a disparity between the kind of marketing speak and blog speak that happens on Warhammer community articles versus the weird secondary, almost like legalese meets doctor, like whatever, like the Warhammer rule vernacular and language, whereas like sentences don't read into other sentences. Sentences are just sentences that are independent and so it's going to be interesting. Our boy Andrew, hello sir. Will it punish newer players? I think it will a little bit. I think it's just a bit more complex. I think it's just more complex.
There's definitely more skill expression in the melee and the fight and the charge phase.
And that's
good, right? Because we're all sweaty nerds.
Yeah, exactly. Like the smooth brain element, I feel, not to talk about World Tour enjoyers like that, but the smooth brain element might be gone. And is that a good thing? I'm not sure. I think, again, a lot of complaints about 10th lacking flavour and like what have you. I think this is flavour of a different kind.
Yeah.
It's not narrative flavour, but it brings more complexity to the different phases that I think is going to be very well answered. Thank you. No worries, Primordial Toast. Thank you for that, mate.
I want to say something that I noticed about the Melee rules things that no one's really talking about because no one else plays AOS. But I play AOS.
Okay. Yeah.
They did a little screenshot of like the charge action, and at the top it says like charge move 11.2 or whatever. That is directly from AOS, where the turn structure is very, very, very well defined. So there's none of this like things that happen at the same time and then the active person goes first and it's like a bit woolly. And we get these really weird situations where there's like FAQs in 10th edition where it says stuff that happens in your turn always happens before stuff that happens at the end of your turn.
Yes.
Even though you can sometimes do something at any point in your turn. You can't do it. This kind of weird thing.
Yeah. As the player who is playing, you get to control the order of things apart from the 17 different instances where
So in AOS, it's like stuff. So for example, if you can use strats in my turn, it says exactly when you're allowed to do that. Stuff like that.
And I did notice that actually there was a screenshot. And it had like 11.03.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like whatever the 11th phase might be. Yeah, exactly. So suddenly it becomes this like cascade of like this happens here, this happens here, this happens here. And it was a little bit woolly in 10th.
Yeah.
I think it became quite apparent to me that I didn't know anything about the command phase and the sequencing therein until about a month ago, I would say, because you just tended to kind of just I've got, and then I'm going to do the battle shock and whatever else.
For some armies, it's irrelevant.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for some armies, it's like coming back to Necrons again made me realise how important the sequencing was in the command phase. So yes.
So I think that's good. If the turn structure looks more like AOS, well done.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be defined, and I think that you will see a lot more like flow diagram-esque or waterfall diagrams, whatever you want to call them, in terms of how that sequencing happens. So it's like, boom, you do this, you do this,
and if they do the thing from AOS that I've wanted them to do all edition, which is make charging in your opponent's turn a core stratagem. I'll be very happy, and melee players will be eaten.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
don't be a doomer because anything could change.
We haven't seen the full representation of rules.
Right? There's one key strat that could just change.
Yeah, it could change the whole game.
Oh wait, no, it's melee now.
Yeah, exactly that. So So
that's 11th.
That's 11th.
I played
We've solved it. Let's just jump to 12, guys.
It's one better than 10th, I reckon.
Should we talk about 2-5 better?
Should we talk about 10th?
Let's talk about 10th.
Let's talk about people who are better at 10th than
we are. Yes. So, if you don't know, the South Coast Super Major, which I think was the first time we've had the South Coast Super Major, happened this weekend just gone. And our good friend Andy, repping Comp Play, got a golden ticket to the World Championships. Well done, Andy.
He came third.
Andy. Came third. Woo. He played another good friend of the channel, Ross Tully. So me and Ross are out in Thailand. Big shout outs to everyone joining us from there. I know there's a few people who are watching today. Joined us in Thailand as part of the teams tournament, Asia's biggest teams tournament at that time. So Andy and Ross had an absolute slobber knocker in the final. And Ross won, I think it was by 4 points, 6 points, something like that. It was a very, very close game.
Yeah, it was literally like if Ross hadn't made one charge, the game would have gone the other way. Incredibly close game. You should watch this. It's on UKTC.tv, UKTC TV on YouTube. Watch it back. It's a really good game. They're both such like great players, and they both played in the spirit of the game. Really fun to watch. I was like on the edge of my seat, in the chat cheering Andy on. It was great.
And I mean, to play, a 7-round event like that, to be playing at close to, it's like 11:30, like 11 o'clock in the evening. Having already had 6 games and to play at such a high level, big ups to the both of you.
And still be in a good mood.
No, exactly. They were like, man, I was, What idiots.
They were presenting a good mood.
Yeah,
They were in a good mood.
very aware they're on stream.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, so we wanted to go through the 3 lists and how this is kind of symptomatic, I suppose, of the end of 10th edition. So complaints have been made by some that end of edition, it's just about big, smelly, tough things on points. They just push stuff out into no man's land and you say, deal with that. And I think that's probably a little bit, that's come over from perhaps the US scene, dare I say it. I think US has had that for a little bit longer in terms of how the game is played. But now it's very prominent in the UK. On the one side, if you haven't seen Ross Tully's list, let's bring it up. Ross plays Tau Empire Kroot Hunting Pack. I think there are 160 bodies in this list. There might even be more. Okay, so if you've not seen it, go and watch it on stream because it is a thing of beauty. I do not understand how he plays that game in 3 hours. He has lots of movement trays. And this is the list that he took. So Sam, I feel like we might need to lean on you a little bit here, sir, just in terms of what the army does.
That's a lot of chickens.
There's a lot of chickens. That'll
Well,
keep KFC stocked.
He's got 80 Kroot.
Yep.
Normal Kroot carnivores.
Yep.
One of the blobs of 20 has 2 characters in it.
Yep.
One for a reactive and one for a feel no pain, I think.
Yep.
I don't know what the other character enhancement does.
Mm-hmm.
So Kroot Hawk is the 12-inch, you can't deep strike near here.
Yes.
Okay.
And Nomadic Hunter, make go fast.
Make go fast.
Make go fast.
In an army that notoriously does not
And
have
then
advanced
Root Carved
charge.
Weapons is the one that's like sniping characters.
Okay.
Gives you like precision with dev wounds and anti infantry.
Saucy.
Very good.
Saucy.
Yeah, then he's got...
So I think both the 20 blobs have 2 characters in them.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of the characters peels off for either like one of the other ones.
Yeah. And he's got the lone spear. That's the sniper guy, isn't it?
Yeah, usually he has the throwing
Shoot and
spear.
scoop.
Yeah, shoot and
so it's-
scoot.
one
strength 10,
anti-tank,
minus 2, damage 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And then like loads of gorillas, melee gorillas, shooty gorillas.
Yeah.
One of the gorillas can shoot back if a Kroot is shot near it.
If Kroot shoot,
If
Gorilla
Kroot shoot
back. Oh no, if Kroot gets shoot.
If
Gorilla shoot back.
If a Kroot infantry unit
Yeah.
gets shot,
Yeah.
then one of those units can shoot back if it's in the right distance, but only one can do it per
I see.
turn.
He's got 3 lots of hounds, OC 0, but he's got the character that makes them OC 1,
Yep.
which was relevant.
Yep.
He's got
Every
one...
character makes them move one.
Oh, every character
Yeah,
does
so it
that.
has
Other
Zero.
within a range.
Vespers for Uppy Downey.
Yep.
Um,
Now, fascinating to see. I think almost everyone has gone strong and stinky end of edition. Spoke to Ross about this earlier today, and he said that the army is perceived as super quick because you scout 7 inches and everything moves 7 inches, but there's very little advance and charge. There's reactive moves. And the thing that changes fundamentally between what he plays is how and where he puts his gorillas. Because the gorillas are fundamentally the damage dealers out of this list. So he is going to protect those gorillas and place them differently relative to the different armies he plays. It's super interesting. So part of the Hobby Henchman chat, big up to Sam, one of the guys from Hobby Henchman who's also in Thailand with us, who it was a bit of a BA main, a Blood Angels main. Ross hated Blood Angels. Like that was the fly, like suddenly you're putting bodies in front of the thing, they're just like, woo, let's go guys, over the top and then touching the gorillas.
Tau in general hate BA.
Yes, yeah.
But
pressure,
really
speed, and fly. So
and
I think
precision as well.
Yeah, and precision as well. Yeah. So one of the things that he spoke about was how he created this onion deployment, where he would have the gorillas in the middle, as the core of the onion, and then you'd have units kind of around it.
Yeah.
So that stops the fly. So it was super interesting to hear how this list developed. It was definitely, when we were playing in Thailand again, it was every opponent we met, they were like, we were super scared of this list. Like, we knew that in the right hand.
It's kind of terrifying. And the fact that this was such a close game against Andy's Salamanders that has approximately 1 million flamers in it is testament to how good Ross is with this list.
Exactly.
When this game started, Sam, you said if he can't kill those impulsors, which have 5 Infernus Marines in each,
boats,
the game's over.
Yeah.
And so Ross obviously did this.
Straight
for them with the guerrillas, popped them both turn 2.
Exactly.
And then they had a good close game.
So Ross snuck it. Now, this isn't the way the meta is at this moment in time. I would say that Horde, there's still people who are holding on to the dream of Horde, but this is now the second super major that he's won in a row, I do believe, after winning Beachhead.
Yeah. It's interesting because you've been saying for a few months now that the meta is kill or be killed now. But I've switched to Taliban, which is just score and deny scoring. I don't care what I kill. I can pop some stuff with some Death Shroud, but I don't really care. And I've been doing better than I ever was with my Killy Space Marines.
I think that's the thing, is that I think there is a perception about the meta right now, and like that's an observation on how it's like working at this moment in time. But I think that this is the counter meta now, and it tends to happen. You get big stinky things. I keep saying big and stinky.
You stop saying stinky.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. It's because of your Death Guard.
Yeah.
So you get these big blocks. You get big things that are hard to shift, right? But notoriously, they have lower numbers of activations. You have unless it's a repulsor execution, of course, which I am sure gets an extra weapon every time I open the app. Yeah. Every time, it's got a twin heavy bolter.
Just another stubber.
Yeah, just another stubber. But yeah, so super interesting that this has come along as the antithesis. Now, if we move on to Manny Chimas.
Well, should we have a look at Andy's list
let's do that.
Because Ross played Andy.
Yeah,
I've alluded to these flavors.
Can flame hurt big men? First and foremost,
didn't matter because it can hurt small monkey.
It can hurt small monkey.
Yeah.
Now, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. No one believed me, but salamanders have been propping up the Space Marine win rate for a little while. They were a good 3-2 or 4-1 army, which meant that suddenly people are presenting at 60% win rate. Blah, blah. Andy, first of all, shouts to Andy. I was in a few different chats and everyone was talking about how great a sport he was, like how well he played the game and what have you. If you go back to the stream and watch him play the Drukhari player, that poor man, I can't remember the guy's name, I just think he was just not ready. He was just not ready. And Andy explained a lot of things, and then suddenly a Thunderstrike was basically in his deployment, picking up boats and like whatever else.
You don't expect how much damage this thing
is. It is rapid, it is quick. It has assault. Everything has assault. You are getting extra strength if you're within 12 inches. Your torrent weapons are buffed. Your melter weapons are buffed. Storm Speeder, Hammer Strike, that is the one.
Which one with melter?
It's one with melter, and is it ignores cover or is it the plus
ignores
one?
Cover, not that he cares about that.
Yeah, I know, but what melter cares about ignores
he cover. Does when he somehow kills your Riptide with an impulsor.
Yes, yeah. So you've basically got a boat of flamers. It's just sort of scorched earth, absolutely obliterating things. And Sam, what he said, like rightfully pointed out as a town main, it's like Ross needs to get them boats, otherwise it's going to be over quick. And that was exactly how Ross played it. But
so what he's got is he goes both incursors in impulsors, so they scout forward.
Both scout 6,
Yep. And then he swaps the Infernus in.
Yeah. So suddenly the incursors can send, but he tends to maybe hold one back to help buff.
Yeah, one will send it to the middle. or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Vanguard vets all have flamers, and they have a captain with a flamer and an enhancement
that gives them +1.
Gives them extra attacks, and also reduces the dev wound on flamers strapped to 1 CP.
Yes.
So there's a sneaky little
sneaky little tech piece.
The Blade Guard and Adrax go in the Redeemer.
Redeemer. Yeah.
And Vulcan just stands on a point with 1 million OC and 4 up.
It says come at me, bro.
Yeah.
It's really
good
such a great list.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see. We'll cover Manny Chimas in a second, but it's got that balance of damage, secondary play, a little bit of like deep strike. It's got a bit of shenanigans, good strat support, we were absolutely delighted to see our boy go 6-1 in the end, but get into that upper bracket and really, really represent. And I played him a week or two ago before this game, and I was playing the Warrior Brick. We had a very close game. I think he ended up winning it by about 4 points or something like that. Very, very close game. And he was convinced that the meta's passed them by. And then he took 2 weeks and he absolutely smashed it. He kind of ironed out the wrinkles, worked out what he needed to do with the list, and then just went and smashed it and won a golden ticket accordingly. So well done to Andy, everyone. I think let's give him a big shout out in the chat.
And great to see some Blade Guard.
Yeah, I love Blade Guard. They were always like a guilty pleasure. Like I've made no bones about the fact that end of edition I'm going meta. Like I don't really care anymore. But they were one of those Blade Guards and Lieutenant. I just kind of loved for a bit.
Yeah,
They
cool.
just come out and whack stuff, and people were always slightly surprised about the damage they had, like whatever else, because of lethal hits. But yeah, super interesting list. Now, if we go to Manny Chima, so Manny Chima also went 7-0. So big up the.
So Ross came first, Manny second, Andy third.
Yeah, Andy third, just because of that differential.
And Manny's list is going to do the thing that you say we're doing right now, which is kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed.
It is 3 repulsor executions and 3 lots of 6
This
victories.
is a small other datasheet list.
Yes, it really is.
It's a large bit of characters.
Yeah.
And then a crumb of other
It
stuff.
is
Yeah, no, exactly.
But what
crazy,
other
this
stuff?
list.
Yeah, what other stuff? Interestingly, it's Gladius and not Blades. So the general consensus with Ultramarine lists, although this is changing ever so slightly and Animeta is adapting, is that if you're doing gunboats, you kind of take Blades. If you're taking G-Man, then you probably take Gladius, because G-Man's a little bit fragile, but he has 2 CP fight on death, so you can kind of send him a little bit, or you can put him on a point. He can be charged. He will kill that thing when he claps back, and has a likelihood of coming back as well. So he one taps a big knight, like what have you. So it's interesting to see that he played Gladius. So obviously, I think that's probably because with 3 Victrix on a guard squad, you probably want fight on death.
I think this yeets 3 Victrix in your face and says deal with this, and then you have to deal with it, and you're not dealing with the repulsors, so you don't need -1 to wound on the repulsors.
No, exactly.
You'll take fight on death on the Victrix.
Yeah.
And they've got -1 to wound anyway.
And your Incursor squads are buffing the repulsors.
Yeah,
shooting.
look, he's got 2 Incursors and a Tech Marine. A Tech Marine gives a vehicle +1 to hit.
Yes, exactly.
And so do the Incursors.
Exactly. So all your Repexes are hitting on
Victrix
2s.
hits on 2. This whole army hits on 2.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Discuss, apart from Incursors, but who cares?
I have been personally. I've been playing. I'm back on the ultras in the league. It feels like I'm putting on a lovely old jumper, and it's caressing me in places I didn't know I could be touched.
It's a bit too small and.
Yeah, exactly. The moobs are shown through. But yeah, I am playing Kato minus Calgar, 3-man Victrix, because it's it's a smaller footprint, and it has like, oh, I reacted, what you do, blah, 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 whatever else, generate CP, and then I send that out late game. It's interesting, the 3 blocks with Uriel, one with Kato, one with Marnius, CP generation, jank. It's got all of the rules. So the Kato one is probably going to is going to stress someone's center, and then you come out and it reactive moves back. I'd imagine Victrix with Uriel are probably going into expansion, because suddenly, if you're pressing expansion,
one of them has deep strike, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Why
exactly.
not? If you're playing an army where you want a good deep strike rapid threat, you can have it.
Yeah, no, and I think if you bring Kato, I reckon that's probably Kato, because he probably brings them down. So you rapid ingress, someone goes to deal with that rapid ingress, because you're outside of 9, unless you've got really good advance and charge, like suddenly you're like, oh, I'm going to move out the way 6. And like I said, I think Ventress is probably pushing the expansion, because then the value of your defensive strats goes up by a CP because of Vect. It's disgusting.
This list is disgusting.
I think Tech Marine is probably the only secondary piece in this whole army.
There's
no
the Grav Cap is a secondary piece.
Well, yeah, I think Grav Cap kind of goes in the middle, doesn't it? So that's your area of denial. It's your whatever else. Artificer armor, obviously 2 up, 5 up.
I said as a joke when the Combi Lieutenant went up 5 points that it was dead.
Yeah.
This list doesn't even have one.
This list doesn't have one. So yeah, now done. So yeah, this is where we're at, late stage 10th edition. I think in a nutshell, we have Kill or Be Killed. We have a tech piece that is absolutely built upon Can You Shift Me? I'm gonna mob the point with OC. Also has a little bit of like movement jank and kind of things like that as well, but it's just waves and waves of bodies where it kind of says, oh, like deal with that.
This is beautiful, isn't it? It's like really skewy, really skewy. This is like
High
skewy
skill as well.
This is like skewy primary denial. This is skewy killing, and honest Andy has a down the line in the middle.
Yeah. Just proper good old honest Warhammer.
Bit of everything. It's got some scoring pieces. It's got some shooting. It's got some melee.
I played against this. It did not feel very honest.
But it absolutely clapped.
I felt like I was being clapped by every single thing in this.
Everything
he's got a bolt gun.
Yeah. He did absolutely destroy me in our league.
Company heroes, There's a little bit of like, oh, a -1 to Rune Jank. Common Heroes goes with
Vulcan.
Vulcan, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of everyone's got these rules now, right? The Vanguard Vet's a nice little tech piece, insane damage. Adrax and the BGVs, insane damage, a little bit of deep strike, Redeemers. God, who doesn't love a bit of Redeemer Overwatch unless you're the person on the receiving end of it as well? But yeah. Brandon says, don't forget top of the meta Votan. They're too short to be top of meta.
Where's Votan, Brandon?
Where is Votan, Brad?
Where are they?
Cool. So yeah, so that's kind of our little statement on the meta at the moment. We have an 8x8 tournament coming up in Hawley at the end of this month, 24th, 25th. We are going to be playing. So the guys from Hobby Henchmen, so Ross and the rest of the lads down there, Sam, a few others are going to be there as well. We are repping as comp play. I feel like we've got
Andy.
Andy's going to be coming along for that as well. So Primarchs are bringing about 45 teams out of 8, which is going to be great. And it's going to be like a mixed bag of like players, armies, and what have you.
And a mixed bag of terrain.
A mixed bag of terrain.
Because instead of like medium, light, heavy, we're doing
WTC,
UKTC, and GW.
And GW. So that is kind of with the perception that GW is shooty, WTC is melee, UKTC is a bit of both, right? So yeah.
So spicy.
So very spicy.
So spicy.
I love it too, and I love it especially because, like I said at the top of the show, my list is basically terrain agnostic.
Yes.
Don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What are you going to take for that? You're going to take your Smelly Boys, aren't you?
I'm going to take my Taliban.
I'm back on Ultramarines. I'm doing the double Rep X, not triple, because that would just be stupid. Sam, you're Towin.
Going Montcar.
Montcar.
Nice. I'm tempted to bring the monkeys back though.
Yeah, I do like the monkeys.
Because that detachment's going away in 11th, so maybe I should take it for the last hurrah.
Yeah.
For the 8 and just run a load of monkeys.
On our team, we have Tau.
Spoiler alert here.
We're not going through it?
No, let's do it.
We're gonna win anyway, so it's fine. We got Andy on our team.
Yeah, exactly. Andy and Rob.
We got Tau. We got Death Guard. We got Space Marines.
Yep, Ultras. Yep.
And we're allowed 2 Space Marine players because 8 is so many players.
So it can't be the same army and cannot be the same detachment, but we can have 2 Space Marines.
So 2 Space Marines.
And,
we'll probably have a Chaos Demons.
Yes.
We'll have a Votan.
Yes.
We'll have a Sisters.
And Drukari.
Yeah. Deal with that, other teams. What are you going to do?
So we're kind of in the mix and prepping for that at this moment in time, which is going to be great fun, and we will do some coverage. Is that correct?
We'll
talk a little bit of that on the next show.
Do a coverage.
Yeah.
Do a coverage.
I would like to, do a proper report of that because I think it'd be really fun. There's going to be some really good players there. It's different. We're going to win.
And this is the precursor to Super Sixes as well. Yeah. So Team England are going to be there repping. Jean from Team China, they will be there as well.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it. I think there's going to, there are the Side Primarchs guys and gals do have a strong team. I think that's going to be super interesting. The Hobby Henchmen guys are going to be strong. I'm very much looking forward to getting in on it. So next time we'll have a little bit of report about that. Tim.
Hello.
I think it's time for Hobby Corner.
You see me scrolling, but you ain't hating.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hobby Corner, shall we? Let's start here. Let's start with...
As always, thank you so much, everyone, for the contributions. Those new to the show, we've got it's quite a viewer count this week. Thank you, guys. If you're not already on our Discord, please go into the description at the bottom on the YouTubes and join our Discord, please. We welcome many and all, and we tend to have an emphasis on the hobby side of the game because we talk so much about meta on the show that it's really, really nice to kind of show and express some of the hobbying side of the game. So, Tim, what we got this week?
We're going to start with a fellow Tim. So, Tim, this other Tim, not me.
Other Tim.
He has loads of armies.
He really does. I love Tim. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I went to school with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
He's got loads of armies. They've all got really strong, cohesive styles. I was really sad to see he was selling his Tyranids, but clearly he's having a clean out because he's put all of his armies on.
Yes, it's his display.
This is his Tau army. Yeah. Really cool turquoise green scheme with orange glow effects and orange plants. Very, very
Love
cool. Yeah.
I like those tower in the middle on the bottom there. Those ones there that you see.
The space Force tower. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably that's more about colour theory than it is army cohesion there. I think. But yes.
And he's also gone and done.
What's he gone and done?
A bunch of tanks.
Big God.
These are all like, you can't tell from here, but a lot of these are customized with some 3D printed cloaks. I think it's a really cool scheme.
Oh, this is Tanith.
Yeah, it's Tanith. Yeah.
Look
at all those tanks.
Look at all the tanks. I do enjoy kind of a very classic camo theme like that as well when it comes to big.
Very nice,
blocks.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Great name as well.
Brandon's going to get us a black mark from Games Workshop there, so let's carry on.
Copyright infringing 3D prints. What?
That's our NDA down the toilet, Brandon.
Brandon, if you live in or around Brighton, you can pay Brandon to print for you, and the prints are of high quality, but it will take him about 6 months to get it done.
17-year.
But I'm paying you that compliment, Brandon, because I'm now going to pay you.
What's longer, print off Brandon, paint off Callum? What's
Callum?
Okay.
Have you got your army yet?
No. Sorry, Callum, but
Brandon, I'm now going to insult you. If you're printing a Hellbrute, you have the opportunity to not make it look like a stumpy little dwarf. Just print it with longer legs. Look at this thing.
Anyway, thanks, Brandon, for that.
He's on the dwarf thing at the moment.
He is on the dwarf thing.
That's me. I'm going to scroll over that because we see them painted later.
Paddy Mick.
Paddy Mick.
Hello, Paddy. One of our, he's here every week. Love it.
One of
Toby IK Enjoy is like, oof. We love you, Callum.
Paddy Mick's got such a cool collection of models. He's always posting stuff I've not seen before, including this fellow with the bunny ears.
Yeah, he's got. What's the film with the
Donnie Darko?
There we go. Donnie Darko meets.
This is Donnie Darko.
Heist. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what these are for, but they're more mutants.
Love a chain feed minigun as well.
Road Trigger inspired 40k army.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Love it. Here are my noble trees.
So this will be the army you'll be bringing to teams.
Yeah.
So can you explain which units these are, please?
Yes, these two are Chaos Spawn.
Obviously.
And these lot are Plague Bearers.
Plague Bearers.
And
love it.
Here's the thing, right? I've been very generous. These mushrooms.
You've written what.
I've written what units are on the mushrooms, so I can put next to the units. Also, we've got 2 units of Plague Bearers here.
Yeah.
But I've been very careful that one unit, they all have mushrooms instead of heads.
Yeah.
And they have flowers on their bases.
I see.
The other unit have actual heads and don't have flowers on their bases. So if there's a big hodgepodge of 20 Plague Bearers in the middle of the board, you can tell the difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well done, Tim. I respect it.
If you're going to do this much egregious not using of Games Workshop official models, you've got to do something for your opponent.
At least you can distinguish. Right?
Yeah.
So cool. Well done, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Our boy Dingle Dangle, who I do believe
is in chat.
Yeah, Centurion Studio Productions in chat. What was it? Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Dark Side Customs. Sorry, Dark Side Customs. So I do believe he does kind of painting, etc. This is that lovely Dark Angels flying thing that
Land Speed of Vengeance.
Yes. New Land Speeder 11th, apparently.
Yeah.
Previewed.
This is very cool. I like
love
this.
It.
Is this standard?
No.
Really cool.
So that's much more considerate to
driving around with a reliquary on your back.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got an absolutely
Xander,
sick dragon.
I love a zombie dragon. Like the old world zombie dragon was like one of those things where I can remember saving up for ages to get it and then getting it and then being like, this doesn't fit together properly, and having to pin it and fill it and whatever else. But they zombie dragons do hold a special place in my heart.
Old world dragons, they still kind of have this problem in the modern edition because they've got to fit on a small rectangle.
Yes.
The dragon has to be curled up vertically in a weird way. The AOS dragons get to be big and proper, and
it's like Prince.
God, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
So here's our sisters player.
Yeah, here's Bob.
Building some more sisters.
Yeah,
thank you, Rob.
Rob's going to be shifting to sisters.
I'm very glad to be on Rob's team because he always beats me with his sisters. Apart from that one time I beat them with my orcs.
But yeah. We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
So we've got. I do believe this is a.
Oh, we've got a twin lance.
A new user.
I've not seen this name in Hobby Corner before. Or if I have, I've forgotten it.
Welcome,
sir.
We got a twin lance.
And what a strong start to their career in Hobby Corner.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. I do really like the kind of blue white. Sam, what's the reasoning behind the blue and white suits? And...
There isn't one.
I thought it was like something like they just scabbed it.
They scabbed it.
Scrounged it, or is it?
So they were triplets or like a trio.
Yeah.
And then they're wearing like half of
thrice lance.
Exactly. So you can see
what like
their bit here.
Yeah. Their mate died.
If you zoom in,
that's sad.
Zoom in, please, Tim.
Zoom in.
Sorry, he was overcome by grief for a second.
You see these red bits on that blue bit?
Yeah.
They're like bits of armor that are tied onto the armor.
Oh,
so their Bezzy mate died, and they were right sad about it.
Okay.
So then they stapled some of the armor on.
We'll wear his clothes in honour.
Yeah. This is Prime Order of Toast Twin Lance. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome. Really appreciate you being here. Looking great. Looking fantastic.
Beautiful, yeah. Very nice.
I like the base detail as well. There's like that kind of slightly.
That's cool.
Yeah, really like it. Little kind of crater or something.
It
makes me think of Terminator 1
really
when
cool.
Arnie comes out.
It's modelled that there are flames on the outside of it, and the inside is like a shield.
Yeah.
Thing.
Oh, I see.
So it's like someone threw a little grenade.
And cool. Love that.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Sam,
Lewis.
if you haven't seen this already, you're going to love this.
Oh yes.
This is so cool. So it's a Kroot Tau army, but they've kit bashed.
I played against this.
You've played against it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Turtle hammer strikes or hammer heads or whatever they're called.
I've since slowly this army has been growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. No, shout out to Lewis. So is Lewis in Brighton?
Yes.
Okay, no, I've never met Lewis. Shout outs to you, sir. He's been a regular contributor as well.
He's the one that always brings this giant plane.
Yeah, giant plane, and in the background a little Fisher Price. I'm not sure what it is, but hopefully he uses that to count his CP or his battle points.
Yeah, that's for doing marker lights.
Yeah. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate you, sir.
Cool. I've not seen. I don't think I've seen these turtles in person. But
I need to see that.
They have been there.
Love it.
Dingle dangle.
Dingle dangles with some
not Pringle prongles. Dingle dangle. As always, has some fantastic. Dark Angels.
Is this a custom bit? This
I think
Dark
it might
Angels.
be. I like
nice.
that a lot.
Yeah, I like that.
I think he was inspired by my ultramarine toilet seat jump
that must
pack.
Be it.
You think so?
I think that's what it was.
You are very influential.
Influential. Illuminor. Love this Nightbringer.
The big fella.
I really like it in red. Really like the red and turquoise.
This looks like. It makes me in AOS. You've got the vampire undead, and then you've got the ghost undead, and it looks like those schemes are smashed together.
Vampire counts.
Night haunt counts.
Yeah,
steady.
This is awesome. I like it very much.
But yes, looking great, sir.
I would like to see this whole army on the table.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's nice to see a bit of variation in Necrons. A lot of people collect Necrons because it's really easy to get them to the table with a bit of silver and a bit of green. So it's nice to see that they're
nice to see some colour on there.
Yeah. So from Dingle Dangles to Pringle Prongle, Max, shouts to you, sir.
Look at that.
Yes.
Is Max in chat? I'm playing him next week.
Yeah, Max. I think the lads are playing. Is it board actions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sam and I. Sam's off camera, but we are starting boarding actions next week, and the other half of our campaign are playing right now, including Max.
Yep.
So we'll be able to give you a report on boarding actions.
And our first viral moment as a channel was talking about trim.
That's true.
And this is there's a lot of trim there, Max. I respect it.
Yeah, well done.
It's clean though. It's clean.
Yeah. It is clean.
It's very clean. I love this model. I love the idea that you can control a demon engine with a normal leather.
Yeah. Just a strap. Range.
Just normal range. Yeah.
Come here.
Come on, boy.
Yeah. So this thing that bursts out of the warp, whatever else.
You've got to imagine on the under it, there's some kind of like horrible pain goad.
Yeah, maybe. That's dope.
What a cool model coming up, Sam. Just saying.
What a cool model.
So's yours.
Yeah.
Ooh. What is going on here?
So this is Toby.
So these are knights.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting.
But what's this? What's up here?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's
big hole.
Is this just a knight not fully assembled?
No, I think he's doing something.
Or is this a kit bash?
I think he's working. He's working on something. Has he put anything as a comment? I like it when
just in sub-assemblies.
Oh, it's sub. Okay.
Oh, so it just has got panels on, right?
Ooh, okay, I thought this boy's cooking.
Nice one. Toby always plays knights.
Yeah,
he's good with them.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing more of them.
Yes.
These aren't the middling guys though, are they?
Midnight.
The Midnights.
Midnight.
These are destriers.
These are small.
Disters.
And then finally, to wrap us off, Brandon was sad that he missed out on us reviewing everyone's bits boxes the other week.
Yeah.
So he's graciously provided a picture of his bits box.
Yeah.
And as promised, I will give it a mark out of 10 based on how creative it makes me feel. 11 out of 10.
It's the Lemsip.
It's the Lemsip. Just
some glue to drink.
A loose scalpel knife.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Like,
have a rummage in there.
Yeah, have a rummage in there.
You're running the camera every time you stick your hand in that box. There's also some cigarette filters.
Blur those out.
How are you using those? Is it a basing design? I love the slight crinkle to his modelling mat as well. Like it's seen some real shit.
Yeah.
Slightly melty. Was it chewed? Who knows with Brandon?
Probably was a dribble.
Yeah, exactly. I give that minus 11 out of 10.
Beautiful bits box, Brandon.
Absolute psychopath.
Love it.
Is this in like a Raskog cube or like a Kallax cube?
Yes, no, an IKEA Kallax cube. So just like he hides it, puts it away, and then
Exactly.
close. Thanks for that, Brandon.
Lovely stuff.
I think that's it for this week, Tim.
I think so too.
We were going to talk about new guard data sheets, but I feel like maybe we've got
boring. Games
And
Workshop can tell you about the data.
Yeah.
Actually, one of them does seem really cool. There's a Fire and Fadey one.
Fire and Fade thing. One thing I will say about that is, what's the new character's name? What's her name?
Commissar Graves.
Commissar Graves. So
such a stupid
Tim
name.
pointed out.
Might as well be called like Captain
Right.
Death.
Ashram and Ataram are getting more SS coded by the week. Let's be real here. Has an ability where she basically shoots. We can't say that because
unalives
a model in a unit to unbattle shock that unit. But then also this is the tank version of said datasheet.
In the whip.
Yeah, in the whip. The tank version, in theory, has a 6-inch aura where if a unit gets out of a transport within that 6-inch, then she can give that unit an order. There's no limitation on that ability on the datasheet. So in theory, you can just castle everything around that transport, yeet things out, and she can give unlimited orders to the units as they come out of that transport.
Until you run out of units.
Yeah, until you run out of units, basically. So
about 10 orders.
Interesting. Brandon says the Mac got hot by the radiator. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for that. As always, a big shout to our sponsors. Surrey Primarchs, Hobby Henchmen, Incursion Events, the Brighton GT lot, and the Warp Soon, which we'll be talking about very, very soon. Please go into our comments down below. All of the links, etc., are there.
So Super Sixes.
Yes, and Super Sixes as well, which we have now, as we said, confirmed the first event for the end of October, beginning of November. The website for that will be launching very, very soon, but there is an Instagram down below that you can please follow. Incursion events, as usual, end of May, I think, is the next event. There is a Surrey Primarch's Golden Ticket event coming up as well.
Ooh.
I think that's in August. So that will probably be one of the last available golden tickets before the Worlds happen in September in Barcelona. So there's a few spots left. If you want them, please go to that. Our friends at Hobby Henchmen have got a May, I think it's RTT coming up again.
17th of May for Hobby Henchmen, 9th of May for Incursion.
Yep. Cool, thank you, Tim. You've done the God's work there because I completely forgot everything.
And then Brighton GT, 30th of May.
Yeah.
So if you like Warhammer and
you live on the South Coast,
May, go to them.
Yeah. South Coast Supremacy. It was great to see that South Coast Super Major was won by someone from the South Coast. Andy was repping from the South Coast. Don't come down here and play with us. All right,
we're better than you.
We're better than you. Well, our friends are better than your friends.
People we know are better than you, and also better than us.
Exactly, that they are. So I think we'll leave it on that note. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining in. Shouts to Bob, who's just made it in the chat. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Everyone in the chat. We'll be back again in 2 weeks. Game stream is coming soon as well.
Yeah,
we love you.
Love you. Bye.